a guest in the studio. We have Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran, who's the Chairperson of Rhythm Foundation, and we're talking about empowering young girls through education. Welcome to the studio, Datin. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for braving the rain and coming to the studio today. And I know it's tough getting here today, especially in Kuala Lumpur. A very, very tough drive today. And you know what? Let's start off with the interview today. It's we start off with, could you share with us about yourself? Tell us, who is Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran?
Sure. I was born in Sri Lanka and to a family where I remember from the time I was young, it's for my parents, it's all about anybody who came into my home never left hungry, because the first thing, I think it's also an Asian custom that when you come, you always say, have you eaten, and as a small child, it didn't make much impact for me, and I realized later how important was it, that imprint and the impression that it made. And later, I got married to Dato Sri Vijayeshwaran and I moved to Malaysia. And I think it was a blessing because his family was the same. It's about charity, giving back to the communities, and his parents were very much involved in community service. And so it just came to me as this is something that I wanted to do, and to be giving back to the community and working with the people and making a difference.
A culture that's deeply ingrained within yourself.
Yes.
And also with your husband, where you found him, and also deeply ingrained within the family. So essentially, it became something that you could work on, and you had the means and the opportunities to do so.
Yes.
All right. Understood. And of course, you started a school. And what inspired you to start a school, especially for girls?
Okay, so can I just go back and talk about the foundation itself? Yeah. So Rhythm Foundation is the QI's social impact arm, the companies. And Rhythm stands for, the acronym is Raise Yourself to Help Mankind. So we focus on empowering and empowering people and transforming communities. That's our focus. And with that, of course, empowering girls is close to my heart. And I feel that they are half the population of the world, if not a little bit more. Yeah. And so why not tap into that potential and open it up? So with that in mind, we started in 2010 a program called Maharani for the girls. So the first program was just from the home. We had 20 girls. It started like that in 2010, and it evolved to today as Maharani school programs, where we are working in Selangor and in Seremban, in 4 schools in each state. And also we have a Maharani learning lab as well, which was we opened up in March this year to the girls. So we want to focus on building their confidence. We want them to make the right choices and to say that you can make those choices and own your own success.
Understood. So rather than just sticking to a defined curriculum, you are also teaching them the soft skills, the things that really makes the world move, and what is important for them to learn to be able to grow further.
Yes. So we kind of, I feel you can't just, education alone is not going to teach you to survive the world, because the world is changing. You know? So we approach it holistically. So we teach them first to understand themselves, right, and to be confident. Then we talk to them about leadership, also communication, and to tackle the world outside and with the people that they work with. So communication skills are very important.
And that is something that for me, that from my educational background, I gotta say, I found it quite lacking back in the day. There wasn't much focus. It was always the sciences. It was always the things that you could quantify. But then things like communications, the capability to be able to put forward an idea and being confident about it, something that needs to be learned from a very young age. And I'm very glad that you're doing it through your school.
Yeah, and I also believe, I think also with values and culture and
morality,
who we are, the identity, that has to begin at home.
It is.
So I strongly believe in that. I mean, we can have all these programs, but some part of it has to come from home. So I just take this as an example from who I am, because these impressions were there in me from the time I was young. Now, I might not have seen it when I was young, and to be able to digest it and see this is something that I want to do. But as I grew and I realized that what my parents were doing has indirectly affected me, but in a positive way it has impacted me. So I strongly believe the first impressions begins at home.
Yes, it is what your parents, what your close family and all of them imprint upon you. And could we touch upon the mission and your vision for the education? As you said, I believe there's a lot of focus on soft skills and the such, but could you explore a little bit more?
Yeah, so we do work with these girls, and we are going with what the trend today is. And we are, because we are not, see, when you work with these girls, when these girls come in for these programs, you have to understand because of that ingrained societal pressure and also what we consider as norm, and we think we don't need to change anything. They come in with less self-confidence or no self-confidence at all. So we need to kind of work on that first, get them to speak up and to say that this is what I want to do, or this is what I want to be, or these are my challenges. And, so getting them to be confident and overcome this takes us quite a bit of time. And we're not working by ourselves, right? Because I'm talking about, when you are working with girls, we're also talking about community as a whole. So we also need to get the buying of the parents. So yes, we focus on the education because that is important. We focus on English, maths, and science, but that is just part of the whole holistic approach for me.
That is true. Yeah.
Because, tomorrow, if, let's say, you get stuck in a highway and your car is broken, you're not going to take a book and look at it and say, how am I going to fix it?
Yeah. If
your survival, if you can find a book, but your survival instincts has to kick in and say, okay, I need to call, okay, I need to change the tire, this is what. So you need to know how to change the tire and not stand there and think, the whole world has come down just because your car is broken down at the middle of the highway. So we are trying to teach them that survival mode, how are you going to tackle and how are you going to be able to overcome difficulties in the world. So we are preparing them, and we are saying these obstacles and whatever you're going to face is something that's going to be part and parcel of who you are, but it is not insurmountable, that you will not be able to overcome. Now, that education alone is not going to help. It's important because you need education to go out there and find a job, find something that you want to do. So I think for that, because some of them tend to think that you don't need, because a lot of them drop out of school, due to various reasons, and they don't complete it. So, which is why we put a lot of emphasis on education and tell them that financial freedom comes first.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. If you don't have money, I mean, yes, it's a tool, but you still need the tool in order to survive in this world.
It's a multifunctional tool.
It is.
It is. All right. Datin Seri, what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. We're going to listen to one song, and then once we come back, we're going to be talking about some of the challenges that you faced at founding this school. And this is a song that you requested for, so we will be right back after this.
Thank
you. To our listeners out there, we are talking about empowering young girls through education. If you do have questions, and if they're pertinent to the current session, we'll be more than happy to answer them. You can send the questions to our TikTok, which is currently live at TRAXXfm right now. Music coming away. We will be right back. Welcome back to TRAXXfm. This is Momentum. W Talk is what's currently going on. We're talking about empowering young girls through education. We are talking to Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran, the Chairperson of Rhythm Foundation. We spoke about their program, the Maharani program. Datin Seri, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced so far in creating and also, coming up with the idea of the Maharani program itself?
So we've been around like 14 years now with this program, and we have evolved from 2010 where we began, and today working with the schools with the approval of the ministry, and which is a big step forward for us, and that need not come without challenges for us, because when you're working with people, that's the most difficult thing, because the emotions and the challenges, because first we need to convince the girls that we are here, we are for real, and we really want to help you. So that takes a while, because they look at us as, okay, this is another program which, you're here for a short time and then you're not going to carry us through. Because our programs are goes on for 3 years. So
wow, that is a long program, yeah.
Yes, so it has to, because you have to journey with them for 3 years. I mean, that's where we have arrived today. And we also has to get the buy-in of the schools. That means the teachers, the counselors, the principal, that this is working for the girls, and also the parents. So we have to work with the whole community per se. We have to have the buy-in from them. And time to time, we need to go back again, because they would take a back seat, or they will go backwards and think, okay, is this for real? And so this is the biggest challenge we always faced. Then it's also about keeping track of these girls, their progress. How do we do that? Because if they leave the school, we also still want to track their progress and see how it's going to happen. So that was a challenge again. So today we have put a lot of systems in place whereby we will be tracking, because the school program in Selangor started in 2022, which will go on till 2025, and we have about 160 girls in there.
Wow.
And in Sramban, which started in 2023, will go on till 2026, has 200 girls in that.
Wow.
And then we have a learning lab that we just, opened in March in Damansara Damai. We have there 2 schools there. We have 30 girls who come in and out for tuition and also for self-discovery programs and to, make them confident. So also for weekend program. So all this is running simultaneously. And this is all being managed by just us, the Rhythm Foundation. So, with the help of the schools who are working with us. So the main challenge is the human contact. That's always the challenge, because they tend to not be there, not focused, not buying in that this is going to work. But that has been changing in the last 14 years. I mean, we've touched 8,000 girls in the last 8 years. In the last 14 years. So we do want to go forward and make this bigger than what it is.
Understood. 8,000 girls. Wow, that is a large number. And of course, you said one of the biggest challenges that you had is the community itself.
Yeah.
So, how do you engage them? How do you engage with the local community to support the girls' education, regardless of them being parents, teachers, school administrators? How do you engage them?
So even the program itself, before we start, I mean, when we identify the schools that we want to work with, we have to go because we get the approval of the ministry first, that we should be able to go in and talk, because without their approval, you can't even walk into the school.
Everything has to be above board.
Yes, and one thing is that I must say is that ministry has been very supportive, and because they can see the changes that's happening in these girls, so we go in, we talk to the principal, we talk to counselors and teachers, and they pick the girls from these different classes and they put them together. So it's actually, we work as a team with them. And we also bring in trainers, and then we also have programs for train the trainers so that they will know how to handle, because we also have, we take them out for camping as well for 3 days, 2 nights, and we do experiential training. Like we put them out in the wild. That's survival instincts. Yeah. So that's how we get in buy-in. Also, we talk to the parents. So we get the parents to come in, sit in, and talk to us, and then tell them to throw whatever the questions that they have. So we convince them that we are here to stay. It's up to you. Do you want to work with us or not?
Understood. Now, the biggest challenge has always been trying to convince the ones who don't want to be convinced.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you were able to do that and to be able to change the lives of 8,000 over students. That is interesting. Now, let's talk about some of the notable achievements or success stories that you personally have of some of the girls that have, benefited through this program over the years.
Yeah, we did have one girl who actually, the parents were just doing basic jobs and she wanted to excel, and actually, she got a scholarship and went ahead to do medicine.
Wow.
And so you see, we are not doing this program to see massive changes, because we want the small steps. You have to understand, when you go into the community, you will see the biggest challenge is they lack confidence. The girls, they just feel that they don't have what it takes to go out there and achieve. So if I can get them to that just open that part of it, where they're able to come up and speak to you and be confident and look at your eyes and say something, because normally they're like this. They don't even look at you. So most of our girls, after the self-discovery, you can actually see them, they start communicating. The communication skills just goes up the roof, and they just come to you and speak confidently. They are being able, and they are excelling in school. So we have schools who are actually calling us to come and do the Maharani program. But we don't want to stretch beyond our limitations, because then we're not going to be able to achieve, Yeah,
and the focus wouldn't be there.
No, it will not be the same, because this is not about numbers for us. It's not about the quantity, but the quality.
Understood. And I think the Rhythm Foundation itself might have need to change its approach over the years, right, since 2010, especially with the advent of social media, because it has been a boon and a detriment to self-confidence.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tell you what, Datin, we're going to take one short break, and we're going to come back right after this. There's more to talk about. We are going to also be asking about gender equality after this. So we hope to have your view on that. But right now, to our listeners, we are speaking about empowering young girls through education with Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran, the Chairperson of Rhythm Foundation. We will be right back. Welcome back to Tracks. We are currently on Momentum. W Talk is it's happening, empowering young girls through education. A very interesting topic today with a very interesting guest. We have Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran, the Chairperson of Rhythm Foundation, in the studio today. Datin Seri, what are the goals for the school over the next 5 years?
Even when I began in 2010, I was very clear what I wanted to achieve from this program. Very clear. And I think we are closer today than I ever was in the last 14 years, because I want to get this program as part of the curriculum into the national schools. Just not for girls, but also for boys.
Yep. And
so that's a direction we are heading, which we have already started working with the schools right now, and we are working with all the ministries, and they're all welcoming us, and we have put a paper together to kind of get this ball rolling and to get it part of the curriculum. So that's our vision. It's very simple, because I think today's world and age, with the social media, as you mentioned before, the good and the bad, and it's also shaping a lot of young minds. But it can be good, it can be bad, and they are making a lot of decisions based on the influence of the social media. So we need to balance that in terms of teaching them who they are, the values, the culture, to know, and what you want to give back. That in terms of young people growing up with empathy, and compassion, and also kindness to one another. These are not just words. These are part of who we are as human race.
Core values,
and also human equity. Now, tomorrow you want to talk about peace. You want to talk about bringing that community togetherness. These are things. These are values and core values that is very important. Now, I don't know how much of that is going to come from social media, but it's going to come from the community that's around you, parents, and from home, and also the program that we are doing. So that's why we want to bring it in to the schools, and we want to bring these components as part of our program.
Understood. I feel like what I've gotten out of this is, if I had to summarize all of this, that you are working to create confidence to build a person to reach their full potential.
Yes.
It's such a wonderful thing, because it's very rare that we see, and I'm really, really wishing that all of this can be added to our syllabus, because I truly believe that soft skills need to be taught at school at a much younger age.
Yeah.
And especially compassion and morality. And truth be told, the word humanity is, losing its value nowadays, but we're going to have to push humanity into it as well.
Very important.
Now, this is a question that you said was your forte. Why is gender equality important in Malaysia? What else can be done to have women across different backgrounds, especially socio-economic backgrounds, to get opportunities to live their lives?
Okay. So I mentioned to you when I started, we are half the population now, if not more.
Yes.
So why not leave, and let's tap into that potential. Now, men and women, we think differently. We are not the same.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That everybody agrees with that. Now, when we talk about gender equality, we are not in competition with one another. Let me make that very clear. Because this is about coming together, because men bring different perspective to the board, and women bring different perspective. Now, can you imagine if these two can work together? This is what every organization needs, because we think differently. So if we can bring this together, fuse it together, it's going to be a powerful outcome from this. So if we can work together and think beyond the stereotypes that are established out there, right? There will be progress, and it's going to be powerful.
That will be correct. All right. With that, Datin Seri, we actually at the end of our interview for today. But with that, before we end, can I have some words of wisdom for our listeners?
Yes. So since we were talking about Maharani program, I think it's also important for me to say that women all over the world, tens and thousands of them, they are navigating through life. They are sacrificing their life. They're fighting for what they believe in, and I think it is important for humanity to come together. Now, for me, I want to see a world that's consciously created where gender will not define how big you can dream.
Thank you so much, Datin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It has been a wonderful pleasure talking to Datin Seri Umayal Eswaran. Such a wonderful interview. I think you've opened my eyes to a few things as well. Today we spoke about empowering young girls through education, and with that, it's about time we get back to the music. We will be back later at 12:15. We do have another interview coming our way. We will be talking about the future of international arbitration, reforms and innovations for the Kuala Lumpur Forum on International Arbitration later. That's happening at 12:15, and right now, though, more music coming our way. This is TRAXXfm.